Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, let us focus on integer basics. First, let's understand the number line. In the integer number line, we have 0 as the origin. Any number on this number line gets its position with respect to 0. Positive numbers are always to its right and the corresponding negative numbers are to the left of 0. An important point to remember is 0 is not a positive or a negative number. Next, let's learn the comparison of integers. You can see that the numbers keep decreasing as you move towards left on the integer number line. If you pick any two numbers, the number to the right is always larger than the number to the left. Thus, -3 is less than 1. Another example where both the numbers are negative. Here, -5 is less than -2. Moving on to counterparts. Every positive number has a negative counterpart and every negative number has a positive counterpart. It is also known as the inverse of a number or its opposite. For example, the inverse of 4 is -4 and the inverse of -3 is 3. If you notice carefully, both the counterparts are at the same distance from 0. This takes us to the absolute value. Absolute value of any number is the distance of the number from 0 or the origin. So, the absolute value of -5 is 5 and the absolute value of 5 is also 5. An important point to remember here is to find the absolute value of any integer, just simply remove the sign. Next, let us learn the concept of positive and negative numbers in detail. Imagine there are no apples. So that means you have 0 apple. Then your friend A comes and gives you an apple. And he asks you to have it. This means you have 1 apple. You eat it up and now you have 0 again. Next day, another friend B comes and gives you an apple. And he tells you to hold the apple, but he asks you not to eat it. He would take it back later. Now you have an apple, but you cannot eat it. So this means that it's the same as having no apple at all. You start feeling hungry and the apple is tempting and you decide to eat this apple. Later, when your friend B comes back, he asks for his apple. You have 0 apples, but you need to give his apple back. So here you have -1 apple. In short, we can think of negative numbers as an amount you have to give or owe somebody. Let's now get started with integer addition. First, we shall consider addition of two positive numbers. Imagine friend A gives you an ice cream. You have 1 ice cream now. He comes back in a minute bringing 2 more ice creams. So now there are in total 1 plus 2, which is 3 ice creams. In short, for finding the sum of two positive integers, just simply add their absolute values. Next, let's move on to addition of a negative and a positive number. Assume friend B has given you 2 pencils. After a few minutes, you realize that you have lost them. You know he is going to come back asking for the pencils. You now have -2 pencils. Luckily, friend A comes and gives you a gift of 3 pencils. Now there are -2 plus 3 pencils. You immediately feel relaxed because the lost pencils can be replaced. Now friend B walks in asking for his 2 pencils. You give him 2 pencils and still left with 1 for yourself. We shall check how to do the mathematical calculation. First step is to find out the absolute values of the individual terms. So, the absolute value of -2 is 2 and the absolute value of 3 is 3. Next, find the difference between the two terms. Here, 3 minus 2 is 1. Now, find the larger one of the absolute values and use its sign in the answer. In this case, 3 is larger, so we make the answer positive. Thus, -2 plus 3 is equal to 1. Let us now check another scenario. Assume friend B has given you 4 pencils. After a few minutes, you understand that you have lost them. You know he is going to come back asking for his pencils. So you now have -4 pencils. Fortunately, your friend A gives you 3 pencils. There are -4 plus 3 pencils now. You immediately understand that you can replace few of the lost pencils but not all of them. Now, friend B walks in asking for his 4 pencils. You give him 3 pencils that you have but still have to give him 1 more, which means you have -1 pencil. Moving on to the calculation, first find out the absolute values. So the absolute value of -4 is 4 and the absolute value of 3 is 3. Next, find the difference. Here, 4 minus 3 is 1. Now, find the larger number. In this case, 4 is larger, so we make the answer negative. Thus, -4 plus 3 is equal to -1. Summarizing, to add a negative and a positive number, find the difference between its absolute values and the answer should have the sign of the larger number. Next, let us see how to add a positive and a negative number. Assume friend A gives you 3 kites to play. Now there are 3 kites. Friend B comes and asks for a kite. You are more than happy to give him a kite to play. After giving, you are now left with 2 kites for yourself. So, 3 plus -1 is 2. We shall check how to do the calculation. First, find out the absolute values. So, the absolute value of 3 is 3 and that of -1 is 1. Next, find the difference. Here, 3 minus 1 is 2. Now, find the larger number. In this case, 3 is larger. So, we make the answer positive. Thus, 3 plus -1 is equal to 2. A small implication here. We can write the addition of a positive number and a negative number as simple subtraction. Like 3 plus -1 is the same as 3 minus 1, which is equal to 2. Let us consider another scenario. Imagine your friend A gives you a kite to play. You now have 1 kite. In a few minutes, your friend B comes to you asking for 4 kites for his cousins. You are ready to give him, but you have only 1 kite. So you ask your friend B to take the kite and that you would give him 3 more later. Now we can say you have -3 kites. Moving on to the calculation. First, find out the absolute values. So the absolute value of 1 is 1 and that of -4 is 4. Next, find the difference. Here, 4 minus 1 is 3. Now find the larger number. In this case, 4 is larger, so we make the answer negative. Thus, 1 plus minus 4 is equal to minus 3. Summing up, to add a positive and a negative number, find the difference between its absolute values and the answer should have the sign of the larger number. The last part is addition of two negative integers. Assume tomorrow is your birthday. Friend B comes and tells you that he wants 2 chocolates. So you remember that you have to give him 2. Friend C also comes and tells you that he wants 3 chocolates. So now you sum up minus 2 and minus 3 and conclude that you have to give 5 chocolates tomorrow. Since you have to give, it is negative, so you have minus 5. Let's check out the calculation. First, find out the absolute values. So the absolute value of minus 2 is 2 and that of minus 3 is 3. Next, find the sum. Here, 2 plus 3 is 5. The answer is always negative. Minus 2 plus minus 3 is equal to minus 5. In short, to add two negative numbers, find the sum of its absolute values and the answer should always be negative. With that, we have come to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video.